Hi, a very good afternoon to all of you, and also a warm welcome to all our viewers who have joined us on the show.
Energy.
Welcome to our YouTube channel Skepta. I'm your host, Dr. Mani Iyer. Before we start, I request every one of you to please subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share this video with all your friends and relatives. This will go a long way in supporting us and to help us in producing many more such videos and bring them to you. So, all right, let's begin. Quick question before we start. How many of you checked your phone in the last 10 minutes? Waiting on a reply that hasn't come yet? Or lay awake last night replaying a conversation that already happened? If your hands went up, even a little, stay with us. Today we are joined by Ms. Varshini Maria, counseling psychologist and founder of Counselling to Progress. And to unpack all these things, almost which happens everyone to everyone, and dealing with everyone, and but very few people talk about it very clearly. Anxiety in everyday life. What's actually normal and what's your body asking you to pay attention to? Varshini ji, please welcome to the show. Let's start with a simple question. When someone messages you saying, I think I have anxiety, what's actually going on for them most of the time? So, is anxiety itself the problem we are trying to fix today?
So first,
Yeah, please
yeah,
go ahead.
thank you,
Take
Maniji.
over.
Thank you for the question. Thank you, Maniji, for the question. And the answer for your question would be most of the time, it's not a very big thing. It's an accumulation of your thoughts or your feelings. Well, a racing heart before a meeting, a headache that won't go away, or snapping at people more than usual. They've noticed the pieces, but nobody has helped them connect it into one picture yet. So that is the answer for your question, Naniji. Yeah.
So, in continuation of that, which I asked, so is anxiety itself the problem we are trying to fix today?
Well, not at all. And that surprises people. Anxiety is actually your nervous system trying to protect you. The real question isn't, do I feel anxious? It's whether the anxiety is proportionate to what's happening and whether it clears once the situation is gone. So it's about the intensity of the situation. Jay. Yeah.
Thanks for that. That's a very helpful reframe from you. So, how do you tell the difference between this is just a hard week and this is something more?
Okay. So I would use these three markers. First would be intensity, and the third would be interference. So I would ask you to notice yourself if it is showing up for most of the days, not only tied to one specific event. If this anxiety is bigger than the actual situation which calls for, and is it actually getting in the way of your sleep, your work, or your relationships? Even if it's a one particular thing that you notice you saying yes to, then it's worth taking some help. So this would be your answer to the question, Manishi. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that. Now, is there a difference between anxiety and stress, ma'am? People often use it interchangeably, one for the other. So, does it mean the same thing, or it is they are different?
Well, actually, they overlap, but stress usually has a clear external source, a deadline or a conflict, and it eases once it's resolved. However, anxiety can actually stick around even after the trigger is gone, or it can show up without an obvious cause at all. In practice, the same tools help with both stress and anxiety. The tools is something that we will discuss in the upcoming few minutes of this live. So, yes.
Okay, Varshini. So, for someone sitting here right now thinking, oh, that's me, what's the first thing they should do today?
Well, nothing dramatic exactly. Just name it. Literally, if you're feeling something, for example, if your chest is tight, if your thoughts are racing, that's step one of the framework that I would walk everyone through today, called notice, understand, and respond. We'll go through it properly in a few minutes from now with real life examples. So, yes, Maniji. Yeah.
You work with this every day in your practice, isn't it, Varshini? So, if this is a pattern, if there a pattern, you must most often, you see most often something almost everyone gets wrong about their own anxiety, isn't it?
Most people assume that anxiety is either nothing or it's a disorder with nothing in between. So if it's a yes or a no, but there is a spectrum in between. And almost everyone lives somewhere in the middle, that is of the spectrum. And that middle ground is exactly what today is all about.
Okay. Okay. Last one from me before we do a dive in. If someone only remembers one thing from the Zah, what should it be?
That the presence of anxiety doesn't mean something is wrong with you, it's information. And once you know how to read it, it stops running the show and you take control over it.
Okay, I love that. It's practical, not clinical. All right. Let's get into it, Vashniji. Take it away. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Maniji. And I will quickly share the screen. So just let me know with a thumbs up wherein the screen is shared. I've not yet started. Maniji, can you let me know before I proceed?
Your screen has just about come. Okay, we have just started screening, but your window, it says it has started screen sharing. Um,
Mhm.
your presentation is not showing yet. Yeah, now it is.
Okay,
Anxiety in everyday life. Okay.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you, Maniji. Yeah, I'll take it from here.
Okay.
So, hi everyone, and welcome. I know everyone's calendars might be full, and here for you today is this topic that we bring to you anxiety in everyday life. So, today we're going to be talking about specifically how to tell the difference between what's normal, a normal part of being human, and what's actually asking for more support. This is one question that I get asked most often, where both my clients in session and by the people who message me on Instagram, is anxiety normal or should they actually be worried? And here's how I would suggest we will spend this hour together. So we'll start by getting really clear on what anxiety is, and I will make sure that I walk you through a simple framework I use with most of my clients to notice, understand, and respond. We'll apply it to three real life scenarios that might feel familiar to you. And then we'll close when we know how to seek support, and I'll save some time at the end for your questions, if any. So, a quick note before we get started is everything today is educational, not a substitute for individual therapy or diagnosis. So, if something I share brings up a lot for you, that's completely okay. Sit with what feels useful and please leave the rest. And let's get started. So, starting with a reframe, anxiety isn't a malfunction. It's your nervous system actually saying how to protect you. It's the same system which once helped us notice a predator in the grass. And today, it shows up before a job interview, a hard conversation, or an examination. So the presence of anxiety is not actually the problem in itself. We are solving something more today. The question that we are actually asking is anxiety proportionate, temporary, and manageable? Or has it started running the show? Well, anxiety can actually show up in three layers. So the first one would be physical, wherein you might experience a racing heart, tight chest, shallow breathing, stomach knots. So people say they have certain aches in their stomach, right? And some restlessness. So that's the first layer for you. Moving on to the next layer, which is cognitive. Now, when we look at racing thoughts, as Maniji took us in the first stance when we first entered, Maniji asked us a question, right? How many of you keep thinking about a text message that you have completed maybe 10 minutes ago? So that's a few racing thoughts that you might have, which is linked to this cognitive layer here. Next one would be worst case scenarios. What if, what if this happens and what if that happens? Difficulty in concentrating, difficulty in actually focusing on something, and a mind that actually won't switch off. Some people say that it's really hard for them to just stay simply by doing nothing, right? So that is also constituting to the cognition layer in this anxiety. And the third one is behavioral. So any kind of avoidance or procrastination, seeking constant reassurance, maybe from someone that you really know, and over prepping. See, you know that you're going to be attending your exam or your interview or you're going to be going for a meeting. You can prep, but overdoing it can actually be a sign of anxiety. And a very important one, snapping at people when it actually doesn't have a reason for it. So, if you've ever wondered why you feel anxious but can't name a single worried thought, this is usually why. This particular thing is often showing up in your body or your behavior long before it shows up as a clear thought. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are in the chat as we go on. Okay? So, as we're talking about anxiety, what is something which is normal? What is an everyday anxiety? We're going to be dissecting this spectrum right now. Okay?
Sure.
So, when we're talking about judging, so when we're talking about normal worry, okay, people say that they're just worried about certain things. It is tied to a specific identifiable trigger. Maybe they are saying, I'm worried about whether the surgery will be a success. That is something genuine in me. So if the surgery comes out well, they don't worry anymore. In fact, it turns happiness that surgery went well. And this you can also see it in examinations. Once the exam is over, you really feel relieved. Or on the flight, when you're on the flight and then you land, you feel relieved that you've reached your destination. So this feeling actually settles. It might be uncomfortable at first, but it doesn't stop you from functioning. So this is all tied to a normal one. Okay. So the next thing that we are going to look into is every single day you might experience a certain level of anxiety. Not only you, all of us do, including me. So it shows up more often, maybe a few times in a week, and it might follow you a little past the trigger. You're still thinking about that meeting hours after it ended. Okay, what if I have told this, and what if my boss thinks this is right? Or what if my colleague's response to a particular situation was wrong and I didn't address that? Certain things that you might think of can come true. Well, you're still thinking about that meeting and it goes on a little bit past the trigger. That's something you need to notice. It can be uncomfortable, but it will be a little bit sticky here. But you can still work and sleep reasonably, and it will not really affect your day to day work. Okay, this is most of the time prevalent in most of us. Okay, and anxiety. Now, the third one, this is the last one that you really need to be really careful of. Anxiety that needs support. So, this is where the three markers that I had mentioned earlier, frequency, intensity, and interference, come into play. So, a frequency. There, it could be like it's prevalent on most of the days, not really tied to one clear event. It keeps on, it's like a pattern that you might observe in upcoming events. The second one is intensity. It's like disproportionate to what is actually happening. It's a simple examination that you might have already cracked, and you are now getting so anxious that your sibling is going to appear for. Actually, there is no need to be anxious about it. You can worry about it, right? So look at the depth here, the intensity of the situation. And the third thing is interference. If it's actually affecting your sleep, your work, or your relationships, and most importantly, your decision making. If any of these are something that you say or you agree to, say yes or you agree to, it could be something that you really need to ponder and seek support. Okay. So now, as we are moving on to the upcoming core framework. So this core framework is something that would give you insight of how you can look at how intense or how is the frequency or how is the interference of anxiety in your life. So let's dive deep into the core framework, and it would be notice, understand, and respond. So notice, let's look at the first word here, notice. This is just naming what is happening without judging it. If you're experiencing chest pain, I am experiencing chest pain. If you're experiencing some thoughts that are racing, you are actually experiencing it. It's not the fact that you might ask yourself, why am I experiencing chest pain? Right? You don't want to be judging yourself here. You're not a critic. So, first, identify what you're actually experiencing. The next one would be understanding, the next word right here. So, you notice something is repeatedly happening. then you understand how intense it is. Ask yourself, is it a real trigger? Is it proportionate to what is happening? Or is it borrowing a worry which is somewhere else? Right? So it could also, I'll give you an example here. People say, most of my clients, some of them say they worry about the future more. Of course, future is uncertain, but there are certain things that is in your locus of control, and there are certain things which are not in your locus of control. And if you are worrying about certain things which you can't really control, then you might need to seek support. Okay. And the third most important one, because here you take action, it's how you respond to the anxiety or to the situation that is going on around. This action can be small, might be if you're experiencing maybe tightness in your chest, or if you're experiencing any kind of racing thoughts. That's what we have discussed so far. A small thing would be like slow breaths, inhale, exhale. Don't think of anything at that moment. Or you might have an opportunity to walk out of your desk if you're at a desk job or if you're in an uncomfortable place. Stepping outside into nature or taking a walk just for a couple of minutes can actually change the way you feel. And another thing that I would suggest you to respond to the situation would be to talk to someone about it. It could be your colleague sitting right there and you're thinking about a project and you're getting really anxious. But by talking to them, they might share a few ideas about it. And you might get some insight. You might tell them, see, I'm feeling a little worried about just this project. And they might tell you, see, this is not a big deal. This is how it's going to get done. And another way to respond is by simply deciding that you will revisit this particular thought or you'll feel this way after and on. So give yourself some time to make sure that you pause, take an hour, do something else that you're really passionate about, and then come back to this. Your response to it would be completely different from it being on an impulsive act. And the main reason I sequence it in this way here is that most of us try to jump straight to acting, which is responding, and most of us react to it, right? So it's not supposed to be an impulsive decision right here. So when we look at this particular framework, we first notice, identify, then understand which of the spectrum that you are experiencing, and then respond, not react. Okay. So if you have any questions, any doubts, you can leave it down in the chat window. And let's watch a video.
Uh, yes, there was one question. What is the difference between stress and
About
anxiety?
anxiety.
And
Yes,
yeah,
I
there
hope.
was one question basically saying, what is the difference between stress
Anxiety,
and
Maniji.
anxiety? Sorry?
I am, hello.
Yeah,
Maniji, I'm actually present. Sharing the screen to answer your question.
yeah, sure.
All right, I'll just stop sharing the screen. Just give me,
No, you can answer it the same as it.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So I know I was afraid that the video might actually start playing in the middle of the conversation. So I wanted to make it a point to, stop sharing it altogether. So stress is something, as I gave you an example, I'll give you another one. Stress is something wherein you have a specific event and you feel stressed about or worried about that event. and you feel a range of emotions. You feel lost in your thoughts, complicated thinking, all of that being said. But once that event is completely over, you feel relieved.
Oh,
However, anxiety continues after that also. You start thinking about what if I had done this particular thing during that event. Let me give you an example. We're going to a wedding, okay? And if you're imagining yourself to be the groom's sister or the groom's brother, you're contributing to the wedding in the way that you have imagined. And once the wedding is over, you feel relieved, you feel happy that your sister or your brother has got married. That is, stress is over, right? However, if you still think about the wedding after a couple of days, and you think that maybe I could have done, the decoration this way, or I could have ordered the food from this place, or we could have had a better, DJ at the wedding, or we could have had a better ceremony or a different venue. And those thoughts coming in or seeping in can be anxiety creeping into your day. So I hope it's clear.
yes. Thank you
G,
very
do you
much.
have any more doubts?
That should be all. Thanks a lot, Varshini.
Sure, sure, G. Sure, G. I'll just once again. Just let me know if it's visible. Just give me. Is it visible, G? Can
No,
I
no,
start
no, it's not visible.
playing the? Shall we? Is it visible now, G?
Yeah, no, it's coming. It says
Okay.
Varshini Maria
Perfect.
started
Perfect.
speaking.
Perfect. Perfect. I'll wait. I'll wait for another minute, and then we can share the video. So it's an animated video by Anna Freud. Anna Freud is Sigmund Freud's daughter. So I'll go ahead and share it for you. Yes. Is it sharing, G? Am I?
Yeah, it's coming.
We looked into the video and we understood about how to deal with anxiety in real life. Let's now deal with three real life scenarios and see what we can do in response to it. So, this first one, you might connect with any of these, or you might have seen someone, um, having any of these. Okay. So, the first one would be it's a Sunday evening. Okay. And yeah, today is Friday, and yeah, 2 more days from now would be Sunday. So you feel like you have a lot of meetings, you have a lot of um, important tasks for the upcoming week, and you feel a little too much, right? So this is usually everyday anxiety, something that we discussed, and not something that really needs intervention, provided it lives on Monday evening. So once Monday is over, you feel good. Okay. So this is like an everyday kind of feeling. And if you follow the notice, understand, and respond formula, the framework here, you might say that you're feeling a little overwhelmed by the tasks that are assigned to you for the entire week. Understanding here would be this is about to be an overloaded week, but it's not something that is wrong with me. That's weak. The week has been overloaded. And responding to this situation would be to spend 10 minutes on your Sunday night or evening and write down Monday's top three priorities, right? You write down the three priorities, you'll be able to make it a better Monday morning. And you'll make sure that you have everything organized and kept. So the vague feeling of Monday blues and the entire week at large would narrow down to, I've got this. Okay. And this particular feeling would go off after you have completed certain amount of tasks from your Monday to Thursday. And then you would look forward to the weekend, as we all do. So that is one scenario for you. Coming to the next one, as we can see, this is very interesting. So you sent a message to a friend or your manager. Maybe you can imagine it's your manager, and they haven't replied in the past 3 hours. Your mind starts drafting the worst case scenario. And you might get upset with yourself as to why you sent it, right? What if your manager thinks of it in this way, or what if they take it out in that kind of angle, etc. So it can actually go anyway, depending upon the intensity and the duration. And a few minutes of unease is completely something which we call the normal worry that we discuss. However, hours of checking your phone, rereading the message again and again, and spiraling into unrelated fears is something that requires intervention and help. So if we use the notice, understand, and respond formula here, you can say, I've reread the message 4 times as of now. I understand. Now, coming to understand, you understand that you actually have put forward your opinion and there is nothing wrong with it. So, if your manager wants to look into it right now, they might be having a busy day. So, they might look into it right now or a few hours later. So, something that you would respond to here is set a boundary with yourself. You can say, I'll check back in an hour or I'll check back in a couple of hours to see if they've responded. If they've not, maybe I'll share a mail to them. I'll, ping them on an email through an official mode. So you'll get to know if they are having something to do officially, you can be direct with them and you can get your answer as well. So this is another scenario. And coming to the third one that we would be discussing today, it would be something which is interesting. Most of us might have experienced it. You have a big presentation, okay? And a very important thing is you have days before you notice that you're not sleeping well. You're feeling irritated and you have persistent headache or you feel a little uneasy in your stomach. So, when we're looking through this particular scenario, it's interfering with your day to day work, right? It is clearly tied to one particular event. And if it solves within a day, as I discussed with Maniji before, it is something to do with stress. But if it is persistent, then it could be signs that it needs more care and anxiety. Okay. So when we're talking about how we can notice, understand, and respond here, when we notice, name the physical symptom that you're experiencing. Is it interfering with your sleep? Or are you not able to, so you're feeling uneasy? Are you not able to make a decision? Something that you can identify, notice, understand whether this is proportional to the particular event. Are you not able to fall asleep because you're getting ideas in your mind for the event? Or are you not able to fall asleep because you feel scared about appearing for the event, right? So understand it. And the third thing is how you respond to it. Basic nervous system care, which is your sleep, your hydration, and your regular movement, alongside addressing the actual decision here, rather than only trying to calm your body. So here you would need expert intervention, maybe counseling, clinical side, or medical intervention if you have any kind of thing tied to tightness in your chest or an upset stomach. You might also have like gut issues. So you might need medical intervention here as well. Okay. So as we're looking at these three scenarios and linking the video, the animated video that we watched, I want to push back on something that we discussed and a lot of us carry. That therapy is only for when things fall apart, but you don't really need to hit a breaking point to bring this to a professional person. If you're already asking if your thoughts or your feelings, is it normal or you're experiencing it as a pattern, you notice it would be enough to start talking to your family member or start seeking counseling at least or therapy at least before it becomes very intense. Okay. And coming to very important signs that you would probably have to have with a professional is when anxiety is showing up on most of the days, regardless of what is happening around you. Yeah. The second one would be if it's affecting your sleep, your appetite, or energy constantly. And the third thing would be if you're avoiding any kind of like situations or any kind of events. You used to be a social butterfly, but ever since you've noticed certain things feeling a little off, you avoid certain events. You don't plan on it. You don't plan, you know, you don't plan to go out with your friends, your family members when we are actually hanging out. And decision making, if you're finding it really hard to make decisions, it's very, very important to be noticing all these symptoms. People close to you, pay close attention to what people close to you have to say about how you are feeling. So if they've mentioned that they see something really different about you, saying that you look tired, you look, fatigued, you look drained. So this doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. They just mean that they care about you and they want the best for you. So it would be the right time for you to actually seek support. If you can't do it on your own, you can always seek support, is something that I'm trying to tell. Okay, so this is what I have for you, and what working with a therapist or a counseling psychologist or a medical intervention, as we did see, what exactly we work with them. We identify your specific patterns, we understand what is driving them, and we make sure we build a response toolkit that fits your life because not everything will be generic for everyone to follow. So at that time, you would really require a one on one conversation with a therapist, or if it is very intense, with a medical professional. Okay. So do we have any questions, Maniji, or anyone? Do we have any questions?
Not at this point. I think you have been pretty comprehensive on this subject, and
Okay.
so do you have any final concluding thoughts, or
Sure, sure. I would definitely like to put them forward, Manji.
yeah?
So I would suggest you to start your daily practice, maybe even 2 minutes in a day, to notice, understand, and respond. This particular thing, along with good sleep, regular movement, and reduce your caffeine before going to bed, of course. So this can meaningfully lower the anxiety that you might be experiencing. And when you're ready to reach out, even a single consultation can actually help you understand what you're working with. So I would like to tell you, thank you so much for having me over in this entire hour, helping helping us all dissect the entire thing. And you can only think of one thing when I would say about anxiety in everyday life. This particular thing, which is anxiety, isn't a flaw in you. It's just information, and you don't have to figure out everything alone. So please seek support when needed. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Indeed, very comprehensive discussion on anxiety, particularly, and how to overcome it. Thank you very much, Vashni ji. It was a great It was a great talk from your side, and the presentation was great also. Awesome. Thank you very much, and thanks a lot for coming on our show, taking on this very important topic and coming on this Friday afternoon, taking off from your busy schedule. So thanks a lot. I appreciate the same, and we will look forward to seeing you on another show sometime soon. Thank you very much. Have a
Sure.
good day. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay.
Have a good day too. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Great. See you soon. Thank you. Bye. Have a great day.